when you come to write your thesis or dissertation, it's a fairly good chance you're going to find that there are certain words or phrases which are simply just repeated lots and lots of times through the course of your writing. And if those words or phrases are challenging to type or spell, which for me most things are, there's a very helpful technique you can use to automate this and make it just less work for you to do in general. The tool that we're going to use is called Autotext, and let me just show you how you use it. So I'm starting off with a fairly long word or phrase here, which I'm going to automate for me so that I can then use that with the minimum amount of typing in the future. So my first job is to select the text that I wish to include in my Autotext. Now, sometimes when you try and do this with a mouse, it can be a little bit challenging. It wants to just take more than just the words itself. If you're finding it challenging to highlight just that phrase, try using your Shift key and your arrow keys, which allow you much more control over how you highlight text inside your document. Once you've got the text highlighted, what we're now going to do is we're going to go to the Insert ribbon. From the Insert ribbon, we're going to choose Quick Parts. From the Quick Parts menu that appears, we're going to choose Autotext. And from the Autotext menu that appears from there, we're going to choose Save Selection to the Autotext gallery, like so. Now, the first thing it's going to ask you for is a name. And the trick here to coming up with names is you're looking for something which is easy to remember, but also really easy to type. So in this case, it's picked up the first word from my phrase, but that's actually quite hard for me to type. So I'm just going to replace that with just the 3 letters TOX, because I reckon I can remember that. You'll see why in a second. Next up, we can choose which gallery. You don't really need to worry too much about that. Just leave it as standard. The one thing that requires a tiny bit of thought would be the Save In selection here. So you've got a couple of different places you can save. If you're working inside a template, you can save into a template. If you're working inside a document, you can save into that document. But in this case, I'm going to ask to save this into the building blocks. Now, the building blocks are opened every time you open Word, be it to create a brand new document or be it to edit a document that you're already working on, even a document that was created by someone else. So if this is a long word or phrase that you're not planning to use just, or that you wouldn't just normally use within your thesis, but you'll use as part of your other everyday writing, the building blocks is a great place to put it, because now that automation will become available all the time you're using Word. So I'm going to stick it in building blocks. I'm not going to change anything here. Insert content only is all I need there. And then I'm going to click OK. And that's it. That's me now automated the phrase that you see there in front of you. Now, to use it, really, really simple. Here's what we do. We start off by typing in the name of the phrase that you want to use. So in this case, I called mine talks. And that's it. Now, instead of hitting the space bar, which is what you would normally do now to move on to the next word, what I'm going to use is I'm going to use the function 3. That's the F3 key, which is just above the number row on my keyboard. And when I hit F3 or function 3, boom, in it goes. There's that long word or phrase. And if you imagine, if you're going to be writing that phrase many, many times, dozens, hundreds of times within your writing, that's going to save you lots and lots of typing. But more importantly, I think as well, if it's a challenging one to spell, it's going to make sure, provided of course you spell it correctly in the Autotext, that you spell it correctly every single time, or at least consistent. Now, the Autotext is great for phrases like that are a bit challenging, but there's other stuff you can use it for as well. If, for instance, you're doing something science-based and you've got tables of results which are going to be repeating frequently within your document, why not use Autotext to record the table? So here's one I prepared earlier. If I type in tab, which is the phrase that the word that I use to store it, and I hit F3, then what it does is each time I use that, I get an identical results table. That gives me beautiful consistency in my document, and again saves me lots of time, so I don't have to muck around formatting the table correctly each time that I want to generate a table inside my thesis. You can use it for other things as well. Here's a privacy statement. there's no limit. And the name Autotext, I think, is a bit misleading because it can store pictures, it can store tables, it can store graphs, charts, anything that you can put in a Word document can be converted into Autotext and then used quickly and automatically during your writing. You can also use the same trick in Outlook if you're spending a lot of time answering emails and things like that as well.